I, 24 female, got my first apartment without roommates a couple of months ago. I finally got my stuff settled in last month, and I decided I'd invite my mom and stepdad over to celebrate having my first home. I should bring up, however, that I hate my stepdad's guts and always have. My stepdad came into my life less than 6 months after my dad died, when I was 6. He was the classic gruff, stoic stepdad who never smiled and seemed to think that affection was a waste of time. He enforced many strict rules, many of which he admitted he didn't have a reason for, apart from enforcing discipline. I wasn't allowed to listen to any music he didn't approve of or like, which ended up being most of what I liked. I wasn't allowed to have any friends over. I wasn't allowed to wear anything that showed my shoulders, thighs, or stomach. Nobody was allowed to have the TV on during dinner. These are just a few of the rules we had, and he didn't drink or allow anyone in the house to drink, even me, after I was 21. On the suggestion of one of my best friends, I decided to turn dinner into a chance to show him he couldn't control me anymore by breaking as many rules as I could. I also invited a friend to come to dinner. I warned them in advance we'd have extra company, so I wore a crop tank top and this skirt that's 3 inches away from being a miniskirt. I bought some wine for myself, my friend, and my mom. I had the TV on for all of dinner, as well as this song I've always loved that he never let me listen to. It's not inappropriate, it doesn't even have lyrics. He was visibly uncomfortable the entire time, but didn't make any comments besides, "You really need to figure yourself out." My mom said nothing and even had some of the wine, but called me the day after. She said I was being petty and I should just let bygones be bygones or stop speaking to him. I planned to do that, but first, I wanted to show him how he doesn't own me. Applause for the petty, LOL. Malicious compliance with my house, my rules. And I love it, and I'm 100% here for it. You are not the idiot. However, the biggest idiot here isn't your stepfather. It's your mother, who let this guy misbehave for years. 100% agree. Mom is the biggest idiot for allowing the stepdad to treat her daughter like that over the years. Dad dies, and she moves this guy in pretty quickly. I've often thought that if I lose my husband, that it would take someone absolutely incredible for me to choose them as my next partner. The way they treat my children is top of the list. Maybe it's loneliness or a need to be loved by other people, but the moment a potential partner mistreats my children, he would be out the door. His head would spin. OP's mother should be ashamed. Some people let others treat their kids like crap, so they aren't alone. I never understood it, but it happens. She picked her husband over her daughter and was content if it wasn't aimed at her. Sounds as if OP's gonna go low contact or no contact after this, which is probably for the best. Hun, congrats on the freedom to be your own person and listen to whatever music you want. I disagree. You are the idiot. The rules that you listed are not unreasonable per se, and many households have similar ones. Your behavior, however, shows how immature and easily influenced you are to conduct yourself in that manner in what should have been a welcomed invitation to them both into your new home. That's idiotic behavior all around. I'm with you. I don't really see the point of the crap OP diss. Why invite someone you don't even like? I get that he was strict, but is that it? Doesn't sound like he was being an idiot, and I completely understand a no alcohol rule. You are the idiot, and you know it. You're not here because you wanted to ask us, but you're proud of what you did and want to show off. Good for you, I guess. I, 29 male, wanted to propose to my girlfriend, 28. She's a nurse, so she can't wear rings at work. So I wanted to give her something that she could always keep with her. I work as a graphic designer, so I designed a ring and a chain that I thought she'd really like. The ring is in a style she's worn before and likes, with the diamond and opals, which are her favorite. The chain is fairly small and sturdy, and made of a stainless steel core with alternating gold and silver links over top so it's stronger. The clasp for the chain is invisible and can be clipped on and off the ring without having to take the chain off. I made it so that she could turn it and hide the clip so she could wear the chain separately from the ring. I thought it was cool, and I proposed at the park on Sunday, after Mother's Day. There was no one else around to see it. She was initially excited when she saw it and immediately said yes. However, when she pulled it out and saw the chain attached, she accused me of trying to prank her and wouldn't hear a word otherwise. She was yelling at me and crying, and I felt horrible. I tried to explain, but she shut me down and returned to her mother's. Now she won't talk to me, and I don't know what to do. Am I the idiot? You were very thoughtful. She didn't even want to listen to you, and you're not even married yet. You are not the idiot. But do you want to spend your life with someone who, when they get emotional, ignores you and storms away? That's a red flag. Agree. That reaction. Plus, she's a nurse. I know it's a stressful job, but the people in your private life aren't your punching bags. If you can't deal with the stress of a stressful profession, the appropriate thing is to get a new job and not lash out at the people around you. People can have empathy without agreeing to be punching bags. OP, you were thinking of her in all places, work too, and went out of your way to make it so she can wear it at work without getting scolded or fired. The best thing to do would be to try to reach her and explain everything calmly, or try to contact the mother privately and try to use her to help to mediate. Nothing comes to mind on why she behaved like that, to be honest. No. If my boyfriend contacted my mom to mediate a discussion when we were in our late 20s, I would be mortified and then break up with him immediately. Parents do not need to be brought into relationship discussions. OP can write a note or a text or an email so she can't interrupt him, or wait for another time to explain. If she refuses, he can break up and consider it a bullet dodged. My boyfriend, 27, and I, 26 female, have been dating for 2 years. He works full-time, but he's also an amateur actor, which is his true passion. I've seen him in a couple of small community plays since we've been dating, but he's always had smaller parts. Recently, he landed a leading role in a play put on by a much larger local production company, and I couldn't be happier or prouder of him. He's very excited about it too, obviously. They've been rehearsing 3 to 4 nights a week for almost a month now, and opening night is set for 3 weeks from this coming Friday. He's been working his butt off, and I can tell how much this means to him. But I started noticing that he was coming home from rehearsals reeking of cigarette smoke. Now, my boyfriend doesn't smoke, and if he did, we wouldn't be together because I have severe asthma, and smoking is a huge trigger. So I asked him about it, and he said that some of his castmates smoke, but that there's also smoking in the play. He said the director wants to be as authentic to the source material as possible, and some of the characters smoke cigarettes throughout the play. I honestly didn't even think that sort of thing was allowed anymore, but apparently, our state allows indoor smoking if it's part of a play or performance, as long as there are written statements on any advertising or promotions. I asked my boyfriend how much smoking is in this play, and he said it's not constant, but it's quite prevalent. I asked him if they plan to have any performances that are smoke-free, and he said not that he was aware of. I asked him if that's something he could talk to the director about, and he said it's not his place to question the creative vision of the director. I told him that if that's the case, I won't be able to watch it because of my asthma. He immediately got defensive and started trying to reason with me by saying that the theater was pretty big and well ventilated, and he doesn't care if I sat way in the back, as far from the stage as possible. He just wanted me to be there. I told him I couldn't risk jeopardizing my health, and that it's not my fault that his director is so behind the times that they're planning on putting on a play that allows for indoor smoking. It's 2023. Why is that even a thing anymore? I told him that I would obviously come to support him if there wasn't smoking involved, but I couldn't risk damaging my lungs. I told him that I would, of course, come and watch the next play he's in, and he snapped, "But what if there isn't another play? What if this is the last leading role I get?" Tomorrow's promised to nobody, and this means a lot to me, and it would mean even more for you to be there. I told him he was being dramatic and that my long-term health was more important to me than a play. I do feel bad that I won't be able to see him act in his first leading role, but it's not worth it to me to be around indoor smoking for 2 hours. Am I the idiot? Honestly, I struggle to imagine a situation where a few people smoking on stage would create enough smoke that could trigger someone's asthma in the back row. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if you can walk around in public without constant asthma attacks, you can tolerate a freaking theater production like this. I told him he's being dramatic and that my long-term health is more important to me than a play. Sadly, you think so little of your boyfriend's weeks of hard work? You are the idiot. I mean, at least try to go. Bring a bunch of preparations. And if you start to get seriously worried, then step out. OP, get a mask and wear it to the performance. Sit in the back. During intermission, go outside away from the other people. Remove the mask and breathe fresh air. This is important to him. And if I were in your shoes, that's what I would do. Good luck. Am I high? Have people voting you are the idiot never met asthmatics? Is this director coked out of his mind? As an asthmatic and someone who's done a lot of community theater, OP, you are not the idiot. There are plenty of fakes that look really authentic these days. There's absolutely no excuse to use real cigarettes anymore. I'm a stage manager too, and I was legit shocked by this. There are so many non-tobacco choices, and they will use real cigarettes? Personally, I would never work on a show like this. I don't care about the director's vision. The union here would never allow cigarettes in the show because it's not only dangerous to the actors in the show, but to the audience as well. Not to mention ruining the venue with that smoke as well. Everyone really wants OP to make all these accommodations and at least try. For a play? Plays should not be a risk to your health. I highly doubt that the boyfriend really knows how well ventilated the theater is, and it's not anyone else's place here to decide how sensitive OP's asthma is. I can't understand at all why so many people think this is worth someone's well-being. Severe asthma is no joke. My husband and I welcomed our daughter in June of last year. She will be our one and only for several reasons. Mostly, it's not safe for me to be pregnant again, but she is our 10-year longed-for baby, so we're happy. We wanted her name to be special, and my husband and I wanted to honor his late mom. She died when he was 7. She developed the nickname the Calla Lady because she sold calla lily flowers from their garden when my husband was a child to earn extra money. She was sick most of his life and unable to work, but she could do that. Her name was Hannah, but Calla was a name that reminded my husband of his mom's strength, and he remembered his mom commenting that the name was beautiful. We both agreed. Plus, it was extremely special and meaningful, which we wanted for our only child. So our daughter was named Calla, a name that I think fits her beautifully. This whole post comes in after my husband's mom died, his dad remarried, and his stepmother took over as the primary parent. My husband didn't want a second mom and did not bond with his stepmother. She couldn't have her own children, so she added extra pressure on my husband and had more expectations of their relationship. She hated how he refused to let her be a mom. The relationship between both her and his father is very strained today. She would not have known the nickname or where our daughter's name came from, but my husband's father would. After we announced the arrival of our daughter with her name, days after she was born, because I was recovering slowly at first, we got a comment from my husband's father saying the name was an odd choice. Fast forward to a month ago, and they stopped by for a random visit, and his stepmother told us it was terrible that she and her daughter would be reminded that she's not their real grandmother by honoring his late mom, and that we should have considered her in this. My husband was struggling with shutting her down, and I think he wanted to say some things that he would maybe second guess. So I told her she could not live in a fantasy world and pretend his mom didn't exist and she was the only mom or grandma in the family. I also told her she did not name our daughter. She and my husband's dad accused us of being cruel and mean to her in an effort to make everyone know she wasn't wanted. They told me what I said was uncalled for, and they were still looking for an apology. My husband thanks me for what I said, though, but I've asked myself if I went too far with what I said to his stepmother. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, 100%. They're totally living in fantasy land. What's up with people thinking they're owed something regarding grandchildren? And honestly, honoring your husband's mom is not the same thing as dishonoring the stepmom. She sounds incredibly selfish. Maybe it's because she can't have her own kids. I don't know, but that's such a screwed up thing to say, especially months after the baby's born and named. What the heck did they expect you to do? They just want to cause drama. Frankly, I tell them to chill out, or you and your family will go no contact and then see how they feel about not being actual grandparents. Wow, your husband's stepmother sounds narcissistic. Instead of congratulating you, she made your child's birth all about herself. Ick. Your mother-in-law is a piece of work. No wonder your husband never really bonded with her. She deserved a good slap down, LOL. The biggest reason your father-in-law defended her is that he had to. He has to live with her, and she would have made his life a living nightmare if he hadn't. You don't owe her a single thing. Yes, and insulting and degrading his choice in the name of his baby was how she hoped to force him to love her or show love? Wow, the delusion is high with this woman. And shame on your husband's dad for enabling this BS. Tell them they aren't welcome unannounced again, and try to set some boundaries while you enjoy your little girl. My husband has a teen daughter, Debbie. Debbie's mom left her right after she was born, and my husband's brother helped him raise her. Debbie sees him as her dad, and she calls them both dad. When we got married, we had to find a home very close to my brother-in-law's home because of Debbie. Because of this, we didn't have many options and ended up with a 2-bedroom house. We could buy a bigger house with more rooms elsewhere, but Debbie wouldn't live anywhere that wasn't close to her uncle's home. This has caused some problems for us. We have a toddler son, and Debbie won't share a room with him or let us move to another home. I finally got tired of her attitude, and when she was at school, I put all of my son's stuff in Debbie's room. When she came back home, she started yelling at us, saying she won't share. I said, fine, then you can have the couch. She ran to her room and called her uncle. Her uncle took her to his home, and she said she won't return unless we put my son out of her room. I told my husband he should just let her live with her uncle. He is like a dad to her, and his home is very close to us, and he can see her whenever he wants. This will solve all of our problems. But my husband thinks I'm an idiot, and my in-laws all agree with her. Am I the idiot? Kicking your husband's daughter out like that would make you the idiot. When you marry someone with a kid, they come as a unit. That said, the degree to which your family's life is constrained is ridiculous. The best option is to move farther away so that you can buy a house big enough for your whole family. That'll mean she sees her uncle less, but that's a less bad option than breaking up your husband and your stepdaughter. The bit where she won't let you move into a different house is giving a child too much control over your household. Sorry, what? She's asked the teen to share a bedroom? Okay, it's not ideal to have her sharing with a toddler, but maybe she'll realize she can live a little further away from the uncle. That young child is presumably sleeping in a public area or in his parents' home. The current situation is not fair to him at all. OMG, you both created this ridiculous situation by letting, checks notes, a child determine where you live? Imagine letting a teen make these decisions for you. Be an adult, grow up, move, and she can visit her uncle frequently. If she throws a fit and says she wants to live with her uncle once you move, it's your husband's choice as to how to manage that. 1000% this. When it said, Debbie won't let us move, I was like, you mean the teen won't let you leave? How the heck? They also both created this situation by having a second child they didn't have room for. What was the plan for housing the son originally? Did OP always plan to rehome Debbie when the son was old enough? They've had 4 years to plan for a problem that they knew was coming and did nothing.